Okay, so it is windy out here in Detroit, but hey, what's up, y'all? So I'm out here doing something that I don't typically do on this channel, that is cover vehicles, but GMC invited me out to come check out something new that you'll see in a second. But yeah, I'm about to head out to our location and where I'm going to be filming today, and you'll see me in just a second. Okay, so behind me is the Hummer EV, and this was really just the beginning of GMC's electric super truck experience they're trying to give to us, because behind me we have one of the first looks at the new 2024 Hummer EV SUV. So this beast right here can get you up to 300 miles per charge, and also it's going to be running you around a little over $105,000 to start off with. And it does have 830 horsepower, which is less than 1,000 horsepower that you get on the Hummer EV, but that's still plenty for a lot of people. A little bit slower than me trying to get to 60 miles per hour. I'm lying, maybe 10 years ago. But yeah, it's a fast vehicle. So today I'm going to be taking a look at just what makes it a little bit different from the truck, and also just some new things that GMC is bringing with this SUV. And the color you see today is their Moonshot Green. And so this is a matte finish and it looks really nice, but you will have other colors to choose from, I believe up to 8. Not all available at launch, but you'll have some different options as far as colors. Now the front of this SUV is one of my favorites because you do have a frunk in the front, so trunk in the front of course. So you have some storage areas to put some groceries, put some other things. And then also too, it does have some tie down points in there as well. And you have a decent amount of space. And so the engineers spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make this all work. And you'll see why this storage becomes helpful in a little bit as I talk about some of the sky panels. But also on the front, we do have the headlights. Now these headlights are nice, not only just because of their design, but also they're functional. So when you do plug this up for charging, you'll actually see that the headlights will show you how much charge you're getting as you go. So you'll be able to kind of get outside your vehicle and walk around, and you can tell how much charge you have just by looking at the headlights. And also, of course, you have your turning signals and all those things kind of built into this one kind of long piece there on the front. And then also too, when you are walking up and walking away from the vehicle, you'll have a different lighting animation to kind of welcome you to the SUV. And the front windshield does have 3 wiper blades, and the reason for that is just because how long it is. And also too, you do have like some front facing cameras and different things towards the middle at the top, so you need to make sure you can keep those clear, so you have that one in the middle to give you that extra visibility. Now on the left hand side towards the back here, you will find the charging port. So this does have 300 kilowatts fast charging and also 19.2 kilowatts AC charging, and I believe that will be coming over to the Hummer EV as well. Now you also do have bi-directional charging, meaning that you can charge other electric things with this. So smaller things, but then also all the way up to other electric cars, you'll be able to give them a boost of a charge with this SUV. And I don't know of a lot of companies that are doing that right now. There may be a couple of people that are working on that, but I think that's something that is incredibly handy. And as more electric cars hit the road, you can become that famous person in your neighborhood that can give people a little bit of a charge when they get stranded on the side of the road. So I really do like that. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this can get you up to 300 miles per charge, but if you do add the off-road package, that will give you up to 280 miles, so you lose a little bit of range there. And you're going to find 4 less battery modules inside of this, so this has 20 compared to the 24 that you have in the Hummer EV. Now, let's back that thing up. I can't believe I said that, but backing this thing up, let's look at the back of this SUV. So this is, of course, going to be the biggest thing that distinguishes it from the truck. You have a closed back of it, so you can keep all of that stuff you're trying to store protected, but you have a 48-inch opening, so you have a decent amount of space to be able to get inside of it. And when you get inside, you will have 36 cubic feet of space. Now, they have been a little bit of strategic when it comes to where they place things. So on the right-hand side, you have a place for the jack, and on the left-hand side, you will have some open storage, so you can just throw things in there. Now, when you look at the bottom of this trunk, you will find this really cool lunar pattern. And if you didn't know, GM actually helped NASA with the first lunar rover. So a little history fact there. But because of that, they actually were inspired to add little touches of the moon and different things inside of this vehicle. So on the bottom of the trunk, you'll find the lunar pattern, and scattered throughout the inside of the car, you'll find other little things like little kind of footprints that you might find on the moon and things like that kind of scattered through. And this is not overly done, which is a good thing. So they didn't go crazy with it, but it's in enough places to add a nice little unique flair to this SUV. And when you lift up this bottom panel, you do have more storage in the trunk. And in addition to the wide opening, this vehicle can lower itself a few inches to make it a little bit easier to get heavier stuff inside and out. And then when you're ready to go, it can raise itself back up. Now you also do have a full-size spare tire here on the back, along with 2 cameras, at least as far as what I can see, one at the top and then one also in this mounting point for the spare tire. Now this SUV has a lot of cameras in general, so this allows for cool stuff like you can do this 360 view, so when you're pulling out of a parking spot at the mall, you can see everything around you. But then also, if you do opt for the extreme off-road package, you'll be able to have some cameras underneath the vehicle. So if you do take this off-road, you'll be able to see what's going on underneath as far as clearance. And also a part of this extreme off-road package is extract mode, and that will allow the vehicle to raise itself up to 6 inches. So if you're trying to clear over a rock or something, you'll be able to raise it up to make sure you don't kind of scrape anything underneath. All right, so I can't remember the size of the wheels, but I'm gonna pop them up right over here. But as far as the wheelbase, it comes in at 126 inches compared to the 135-inch wheelbase on the Hummer EV truck. And so what that allows you to get a very tight turning radius. So this is gonna feel like when you're turning this inside of a parking lot or something, it's gonna feel like a small vehicle because of that tight base. So that just makes this more kind of ideal for those everyday tasks and those everyday runs throughout the city. And one of the most talked about features of the Hummer EV truck was their CrabWalk Mode, but this is also coming standard on this SUV. So this will allow the vehicle to turn all 4 wheels at the same time, I believe up to 10 degrees. So that's a very cool feature that, you know, I would like to try just in my backyard, to be honest with you, but I like that they're bringing that over to this too. Okay, so now let me get inside of this bad boy here. So you do have this step up kind of board there at the bottom to help you get in, but once you do, this thing gets really, really spacious. So what I like about this, the first thing is the infinity roof that you have here at the top. So this is made out of 4 individual sky panels. And so they have these handles right here that allow you to pop these off. And you don't have to worry about just throwing these in the garage somewhere on the floor or worrying about where you're gonna put these. They've actually designed the space in the front, you know, or the front, to be able to store these panels in a nice and neat way. And then the eye bar that kind of holds all of them together can also be taken off, and that has a convenient place in the back underneath that panel in the trunk that I showed you before. That will be able to sit nicely in there. And also, fun fact, from start to where we are right now, almost to the day, it took them 2 years to do this. Now, it takes me 2 years to do a math problem these days. So the fact that they were able to design this entire vehicle in 2 years is pretty impressive. But they have the design language of just like the H in the Hummer name, right? And so the H has very, you know, straight lines, and it's kind of bold in itself. And they bought that philosophy of making something that is bold, that looks nice, but it's not too like premium looking to the point to where you're going to be scared to scratch it or get rough with it. This still is going to be a very durable material that's going to be made for getting it dirty and stuff, but should be very easy to clean off. Now in this center console, you will have a place up here for wireless charging. You'll have some storage right here. Then also this will be able to lift up and you'll be able to store some things inside of there too. But as far as just controls, I mean, you have these 2 decently sized screens here that will allow you to control all aspects of the vehicle. So this main one right here in the center console here has a bunch of little different paddles or buttons to be able to control different things. And you also have some more pass-through storage here at the bottom. And then just coming back up to the steering wheel, I think it feels really good. You have a decent amount of controls here, but also just as far as driving this SUV, they have their Super Cruise hands-free driving. Now this works on up to 200,000 miles of roads, not every single road out there, but a good amount of them. And this will allow you to kind of just be hands-free and allow the vehicle to drive itself. And also new to this is an automatic lane changing system. So before you had to initiate it yourself, now the vehicle can do it itself. So it can look at its surroundings and know when to shift lanes. But even with all of this, you still have to be aware, and they have a front-facing camera right here to be able to monitor your awareness to let you know when you need to start paying attention. And then you also do have this light bar here on the steering wheel that will light up green when you do have this Super Cruise mode activated, and then I think it will light up red to let you know when you need to, you know, actually pay attention. So yeah, this entire system with everything else being electric and stuff just makes this vehicle just a little bit more independent, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I like, again, those extra details with the speaker grills on the doors. They have that lunar landing or the lunar patterns there as well. So yeah, you just find that throughout this entire cabin here. So look, I'm liking this. Okay, so I'm kind of fast forwarding into the future, but I'll come back to my hands-on with this SUV. But I'm actually just leaving the headquarters for GMC for their UX and design and engineering, and I was able to get a sneak peek at the background into what went into developing the UI that you're going to be using inside of this vehicle. And this is very important because this really makes or breaks the user experience, and a good sign of a really good UI is one that you're not really thinking about. You don't have any issues, you don't need a manual to use, and they've done that with this because not only does it look very futuristic, it looks really cool with the clean colors and designs, and they brought over that beach design, as I talked about before, using those bold lines and kind of that format. And they've also worked with some of the, I think, production companies that have worked on Marvel movies. And you can really see that this UI looks like it could be in the helmet of Iron Man. But the main focus was really to make something that they didn't need to have a lot of text on the screen to really tell you what to do. They're showing you what to do with the video elements, showing you what exactly is going on with your car. So when you do activate CrabWalk Mode, which has a cool logo, by the way, it'll show you exactly what the tires are going to be doing, the angle that they're going to be at, and what that mode really means. And then when you're ready to test out that 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, that actually has like a startup sequence, just like if you were on a rocket getting ready to go up in space. And so they sync some of these sounds and effects with the sound system to make it feel that way too. And it's just a really cool thing to watch. And then to something like the different driving modes that you see in your car, where you might see like an icon for a mountain or an icon for water or something. Well, a lot of times people don't know exactly when they should be activating a certain driving mode. Like when should you enter in terrain mode versus off-road mode or whatever. But they actually have another visual representation with this video that shows you the Hummer going through these different types of terrain and which one would be the best for the mode that you're thinking about activating. And then as you're driving throughout the day and the light is changing from daytime into nighttime, the UI would change from their day mode into dark mode. So you have that transition that will happen over time. And also they're developing a smartphone app that not only will allow you to, remote start your car and to put in driving directions and have that automatically be transferred over to your car, but also it's going to have some of these same UI elements inside of that app to try to tie everything together. So look, I'm excited for this UI. As someone who likes VR and high-tech stuff, I can really appreciate all the little subtle things inside of this. But right now, let me get back into the past and go back to my hands-on with this Hummer. Okay, so look, I really like this SUV, and this is just trying to go at another demographic because the truck is cool, but the truck is, made for doing a lot of tough, everyday tasks and going off-roading, and this can still go off-roading, but it's just more kind of practical for those everyday things like going to the store, going to the mall, taking your kids from places. It has that 5-person seating on the inside. It's very spacious, and the trunk space is really nice, and just the way everything was kind of thought out about this, and everything is really practical. And the design is still like that it's not super aggressive, but it does make a statement. And the little things with the lunar landing and the lunar patterns and stuff really kind of tie this vehicle in to make you remember back in the day when you saw those Hummer trucks riding around your city to now we have something that's more modern. And it has a design that's going to last for a while. Like in 5 years, I don't think you'll look at this SUV and think, oh man, it looks outdated. This thing is still going to be able to stand up, in my opinion, when it comes years down the road. And so yeah, early 2023 is when you'll be able to get your hands on this Hummer EV SUV for a little over $105,000. So an all-electric vehicle that can almost do anything you throw at it, I'm not mad at that. So what do you think about it? Leave your comment down below this video about what you think about this. And I got to switch arms because this camera setup is heavy. But anyway, leave your comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to, and like this video if you did like me showing off this thing today. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace. All right, now I'm gonna try to see if I can get the keys and drive this out myself back to St. Louis. I know that's not gonna happen, but I'm going to try.